In May 2016, the Revolutionary Court of Iran sentenced Narges Mohammadi to 16 years in jail. Charges included being a member of an organisation called Step by Step to Stop the Death Penalty and committing propaganda against the state. So that propaganda campaign was an attempt to stop the state killing kids, essentially. She's now in the Evin prison alongside Nazanin Zaghari Ratcliffe, and there she sometimes endures solitary confinement. She wrote about this in a letter to English Pen. As a matter of fact, solitary confinement is nothing but a closed and dark room, a dimly confined space, deprived of all sounds and all light that can give the inmate a sense of humanity. As well as enduring that, she's been ill. She's got a neurological disorder which causes muscular paralysis. Yet, Evin prison officials have denied her access to a neurologist for over a year, and for that reason, just last week, she went on hunger strike. Since then, she's been promised help, but it's unclear whether it's yet arrived. And there's a lot more to her story that I'd urge you to look into. And of course, when you read it, you'll desperately want to help, which is why we're here, after all. And for Narges, there is something you can do. If you visit the website her friends and supporters have set up, which is called humanrightsontop.wordpress.com, the first thing you'll see is a gallery of photos of mountains from around the world. The website explains, foremost, we hope to raise awareness for Narges Mohammadi's case so that she is released and free to explore all these mountains and places along with her family. And Narges Mohammadi's hobby used to be mountain climbing. When she was a university student, she was banned from mountaineering due to her political and human rights related activities. So now people are sending her pictures. I don't know if she can see them in prison, but there's still something about this gesture. The photographs represent beauty and freedom, another world where Narges is able to roam where she wants and enjoy that nature on her own terms. And the pictures are touching as well because they represent individual small acts of kindness. The people who have gone to the trouble of sending them are also sending solidarity and hope. And so I've tried to take inspiration from that in what follows. I want to give my own small gift to Narges, which will be a walk on the mountain I love the most. Actually, it's more of a hill. It's called Whitbarrow, and it lies on the edge of the Lake District. Its summit is only 705 feet above sea level, but that summit does at least glory in the name of Lord's Seat. The rest of the hill, meanwhile, is a long exposed limestone escarpment laid down in the Carboniferous period 350 million years ago. It's a site of special scientific interest, full of rare habitats, glacial erratics, and unusual rock formations. It's an incredible place, but don't take that from me. In his famous book, The Outlying Fells of Lakeland, the great bard of fell walkers, Alfred Wainwright, describes the walk up Whitbarrow as the most beautiful in this book. Beautiful it is every step of the way. All is fair to the eye in Whitbarrow, says Wainwright, which is true. But I love it especially because it's the hill behind my mum's house, and I go up there all the time. From her front door, I just turn left onto a farm road and I'm climbing. I go through a wooden gate at the top of the lane and up through a steep field where lambs play in spring and where in winter, if it snows, there's very excellent sledging. At the end of the field, there's a stile leading into a small wood, carpeted with bluebells in April and May, or where in the summer the air is thick and potent with wild garlic, and in late autumn everything is dark and dripping. After that, there's a short, slippy trudge on through the wood that takes you to 3 old stone steps up the side of a wall, then a steep diagonal path up a bank and onto a stony, muddy track, which is inexplicably marked as a road on some maps, and so every so often destroys a luckless saloon car. Leave this path quickly, cutting upwards to the right, through another field, stonier now and scrubbier. There are thick bramble bushes that deliver sweet and tangy blackberries in early autumn, and scratches for the unwary the rest of the time. Another gate, a short climb, and then it's just sky and the long stretch of the escarpment. The path cuts through a small declivity, so you don't get the full view yet, but no matter. The hilltop itself is lovely enough. It's a big, empty expanse of low grass, heather and rocks, punctuated by just a few wind-battered trees and hawthorn and juniper bushes, all dark branches and witches' fingers. It's bleak and it's stony, but it's got its own rugged charm, not to mention its own unique interest. There are the clinks and grikes of a limestone pavement just to the left of the path. It's a geographer's dream and a special ancient place. But don't get too distracted because the track is generally pretty muddy and there are loose rocks to watch for. Also, gigantic, hairy, red cows with long horns. They don't do much more than stand around chewing the cud and looking scenic, but let's not bump into them. Now the path is flat, right in the top of the outcrop. There's a gentle couple of kilometres, and after that we get to a high dry stone wall. It was built over 100 years ago by unknown hands, one carefully selected rock at a time. It stretches out over the top as far as the eye can see. Across that, there's a small pine copse. And then the path leads you past some miniature limestone escarpments that look for all the world like scale models of the hill you're walking on. Then you take a sharp right for Lord's Seat and the summit, which is where the magic really begins. And because my mum's house is so well situated for this hill, and because I'm a father and early mornings no longer hold any fear for me, I quite often made it up there just after sunrise. I ran up there this December just past, in fact, on a day so foggy that it felt as if it was actually getting darker as the dawn progressed, until at least I got to the last slope towards the cairn at Lord's Seat. That took me above the mist, and I found myself looking out over splendours suddenly visible under the rising sun. Morecambe Bay in the Kent estuary, the Irish Sea to the south, another temporary sea of rolling fog in the valley below, and beyond that, to the west, the outlines of the Lake District Mountains brightening into sharp focus. Cartmel Fell, the Old Man of Coniston, the Langdale Pikes. The names are evocative enough in themselves, but it's the feeling you get. The strange elation of mountains, of their long campaign against time, of their hugeness in the face of humanity, of their stillness and silence. These aren't places we can touch. They aren't places we can spoil. And I can't properly explain that feeling we get, but it's the same excitement that moved the Romantic poets to write about sublime nature, and I'm guessing, which motivated all those people to send in pictures for Narges. In the early morning, there's an extra selfish pleasure too. If you're up bright and early enough, Lord's Seat can be yours. You can be king or queen of the mountain. Later on, there'll be more wheezing joggers, like me. Walkers will enjoy well-earned cups of tea there. There won't be so many people that it ruins things, and everyone I've ever met at the summit has been cheerful. But there's something special about feeling alone amongst all that beauty. But I enjoy this solitude, especially because I know it's going to end soon. In fact, most of the time when I'm there, I'm not even really alone. My dog is with me, its tail wagging, making the most of things, sharing and adding to the joy of being there. And I also know that when I get back, I get to see my family. My mum's house has a glass front door leading to the kitchen. And as I approach, I generally see my daughter sitting at the table having breakfast. And that is better than all the other views in the world. And so I wish just that simple delight for Narges. And I also hope the day will soon come when she can enjoy the companionable loneliness and freedom of mountains. As it is, we know what's happening to her, and she's a mother of young children too. But she's been denied the most basic and deepest joy of knowing that next hello is just a short walk away. So to finish, I'd just like to read an extract from a poem she wrote back in September 2017 called 3 Goodbyes. 3 goodbyes and a separation, like dying 3 times. When Ali and Kiana were just 3.5 years old, I was arrested by the security guards when attacking my home. Kiana had just had an operation, and it was only a couple of hours I'd come home. She had a temperature. When the security guards were searching the house, they allowed me to put the kids to bed. I put Ali on my feet and rocked him and patted him, and softly sang him a lullaby. He slept. Kiana was restless. She had a temperature and was scared. She'd felt the fear. She'd clung her arms around my neck, and I, as if gradually sinking, was separated from them. When I was going down the stairs, Leaving the house, Kiana was left crying in her father's cupboard. She called me back 3 times. 3 times I came back to kiss her. And then, when Ali and Kiana were 8.5, I got them ready for school in the morning, and they left. The security guards attacked my home again. This time Ali and Kiana were not home. I picked up their photo from the bookshelf and kissed them goodbye, and was led to the car with men who had no mercy. And now, in September 2017, I have not seen them in 2.5 years. My writing might not be correctly worded, but it has that certainty of feeling. The pain of mothers throughout history, the mothers who take pride in their convictions from one side and feel the pain of conviction being away their children taken away.